I've really looked so forward to coming up here and hunting Alberta. I've never been in an area that is so vast. I just can't wait to get out there and hunt these big Canadian whitetails.
It's the greatest deer hunt in the world.
There is monster bucks out there.
There's a buck right there, right there. That's a good buck. I'm gonna take him. Hold steady, big boy. Here goes.
Winchester Whitetail Revolution is brought to you by Winchester Ammunition, the American legend, Bushnell Optics, Magnify Life, Code Blue, perfecting the science of hunting, Winchester Repeating Arms, the guns that work. Larger than the entire nation of France, Alberta, Canada's Wild Rose Province. The variety of habitats is stunning, from the peaks of the Rockies to the forests of the north, and from the wheatlands of the south to the prime whitetail country east of the capital of Edmonton.
My name's Steve Stoltz.
Sorry about that.
You probably know today's host, Steve Stoltz, from his other hosting duties, such as Winchester Turkey Revolution.
What a beautiful turkey.
Congratulations, Steve.
Thank you,
That's
sir.
great.
Stoltz's passion for hunting is only matched by his dedication to his job as a firefighter in Melville, Missouri. Stoltz brings years of hunting experience and understanding to the team of experts on Whitetail Revolution.
What a whitetail, yes!
I'm on my way to Elk Point, Alberta, and am I pumped? Had an invite from Standing Eagle Outfitters. We're really fortunate up here in Canada to be invited to an Indian reservation. This is one of the only Indian reservations that you can hunt on up here in Alberta. They've got thousands and thousands of acres of prime monster class whitetail habitat. I mean, it's different than I've ever experienced. So I'm really looking forward to that challenge. And that's what whitetail hunting's all about. If you've got a challenge ahead of you, something different, something exciting, you just can't help to be pumped up about a trip like this. It is chilly out here. What a different climate, but we're finally here. That's something else. Henry?
Steve, how are you?
Steve Stoltz, nice to meet you, man.
Nice to meet you here too. Welcome to Standing Eagle Outfitters.
Well, I am excited to be here.
Us being a First Nations native people here in Frog Lake, then the only one in Alberta, and that's what makes it unique.
No First Nations have done that, so this area hasn't been hunted, you know, for last so many years. We only take so many hunters, so we don't overkill the area.
People talk about big trophy northern brutes, and that's what we have up here. We have limited hunters coming in every year. So lately I've seen quite a few prospects that are going to be potential booners here in next year or a couple of years' time.
It's the greatest deer hunt in the world. The average hunter can expect to kill in Canada and Alberta and Saskatchewan 140-inch deer. That's what they can expect to kill. They got a fantastic chance killing a 160-inch deer, and I've booked hundreds of hunters over the years. We've killed lots, and I mean lots, of booked deer. Now, I haven't got one yet, but a lot of my clients have, and that's why I'm still here, staying, trying to get one.
This is everything I've ever expected when I've dreamed about coming to on a Canadian hunt, especially up here in Alberta. The terrain is just thick and gnarly. It's got water, it's got cover, it's got feed, got everything they need to grow monster class whitetails. Now, my dream of killing a really good whitetail up here is maybe going to come true. Here in a little bit, we're going to go put out some mock scrapes and some scent dispensers out there where we're going to be hunting tomorrow. But first, this afternoon, I'm going to get this thing checked for zero. You know, it's important when you make an airline flight to make sure your gun's sighted in. check it for 0. And so that's what we did. We got the safety glasses on, put the earplugs in. Now when I left St. Louis, I sighted in 2 inches high at 100. That's what I usually do. 2 inches high at 100 means it's dead on at 200. Fire in the hole. I think I'm still just a hair high, which is good, of center. I'm happy with that. Time to head for the timber. Awesome. This is the area we'll be hunting, Frog Lake, monster buck country. And I wanted to put some mock scrapes out with a drop time scent dispenser. Because my thinking is, you know, it's middle November, the rut's kicking in. If I get those scrapes out, the does will come to the scrapes and the bucks will come checking on the does. We're seeing some really big deer, and there's some great sign in here. And what I'm wanting to do is slip in here and put some Code Blue drop time scent dispensers on some mock scrapes. Scent is only as good as its application. I'm not leaving anything to chance. I'm using rubber gloves so I don't leave any human scent. I've got a natural rub right here, an overhanging branch with a licking branch already here on this tree, so this is a natural spot to make a mock scrape. It is prime time for big whitetails to be moving, checking scrapes, checking on the does. There's a lot of does in this drainage, and with any amount of luck, we'll get a shooter in. And I just can't wait to get out there and hunt these big Canadian whitetails. You know, I didn't really know what to expect sifting through this timber. It's different terrain than I'm used to hunting. It's thick, and of course, that thick timber, that's what holds big monster class bucks.
Winchester's new ammunition ballistics calculator is live on Winchester.com. Choose your type of ammunition and compare up to 5 different Winchester products with easy-to-read high-tech ballistic charts and graphs. Customize shooting conditions by entering wind speed and outside temperature, adjust 0 marks for sighting in, then print the ballistics for later reference on the range or in the field. The Winchester Ballistic Calculator, only on Winchester.com.
You know, all the way up here, I've thought about hunting on an Indian reservation in a place where most people can't hunt. And that's a unique opportunity to be able to hunt a big trophy whitetail in vast country in areas that hunters just aren't allowed.
While Stoltz breaks trail, let's go to Mike Hanbeck to learn how the camera doesn't lie on Buck of a Lifetime.
Okay, all you deer hunters, gather around for the incredible story of Freak Nasty. One summer, Hurley Combs got 400 trail camera pictures and several shots of a huge, non-typically named what else? Freak Nasty. Based on those pictures and his scouting, Hurley hung a stand for the Velvet Monster. On the first day of Kentucky's bow season, Freak Nasty walked in under the stand and looked straight up. Hurley fired a perfect arrow. He laughed and told me, man, I had to grab that tree. I was scared as hell I was going to fall out of it. You can see why. Freak Nasty grossed .217 and netted .205 6/8. Kentucky's #1 velvet non-typical and #4 all-time in the state. 2 lessons. Trail cameras, baby, they work. Get some images of a shooter buck, set your stand in his core area, move in, you got a great chance. #2, once you get a picture of a giant like Freak Nasty, the bow opener can be as good or even better than the rut. That buck is more predictable in his patterns and he hadn't been pressured yet, and that's what it's all about for shooting big deer. For more incredible stories like Freak Nasty by Hurley Combs, check us out on the web at versuscountry.com.
I like hunting the whitetail deer because of the uniqueness and the challenge they give out to the hunter itself and how big they are, because these deer are very big.
People come with the wrong idea sometimes, thinking they're going to see a monster buck behind every tree, and it doesn't happen that way. You got to have fortitude, you got to have sticking power, and your worst enemy up here is yourself, because you're wanting to doubt what's going on. The calendar's got to be right, the weather's got to be right, the snow's got to be right, the temperature. A lot of factors up here when you come up here after a big buck.
They're a challenge. They're pretty smart. The big bucks are real wily, and they're hard to outsmart sometimes.
They're an animal that you really have to have skills to hunt. You really have to know how to outsmart them.
Native American culture was built on hunting. And like other Indians, the Cree of Standing Eagle depended on the white-tailed deer as a major source of food for centuries. The Cree called the whitetail wapayus, meaning white-waving tail. And like other tribal hunters, learned techniques such as decoying, using calls, and rattling antlers to lure deer into bow range. Methods like these have come down to hunters today, and the Cree continue to pass them along.
When my late dad was alive, he would tell me, he said, this is the stuff that we use. He come up with this thing, and he said, this was taught by my great-grandfather. And this is the first thing he showed me was the gland, the deer gland. Is he would take the gland, and then he would hang it up in the tree, and then he would dry it. He would literally scrape that little gland off and put it in a little pouch. And I seen him did this. And I said, what are you doing? He said, never mind, just watch. And learn, watch. So what he did was he sprinkled this gland all over the place. And the very next day when we come down to that same place, guess what? The deer was right there, standing right there. That technique we utilize from tradition, passed down from generation to generation. And that's how we lure the deer to come out. It would be the same technique as Code Blue.
Putting the scrapes out, we added the old technology with new tradition and using their scent techniques mixed in with our modern day scent techniques, and it spelled a successful hunt. Henry Stanley and Albert Jimmy and Guy Jordan, they've all said they've seen phenomenal bucks through this drainage. And that's kind of why I want to get those scrapes out. I mean, I figure get a little ahead of the game, get some scrape scent dispensers out, and the next day we should be in good shape, especially if those does and bucks start going to those scrape sites.
I saw a lot of buck activity during middays, and a majority of our bucks taken last year were between the hours of 9 o'clock and 3 o'clock in the daylight, so they're really active when the rut really kicks in up here. And it's constant movement, constant action, so you always have to be on your toes and ready for shots.
Yeah, I don't see any deer on that scrape. I see the scent dispenser. I see no deer. So I'm gonna slip up here and rattle. You know, I didn't really know what to expect sifting through this timber. It's different terrain than I'm used to hunting. It's thick, there's a lot of brush, thick brush, and of course, that thick timber, that's what holds big monster class bucks. This is perfect weather for this, because the deer are down low, probably getting out of this wind. And I'm kind of staying high up on this little ridge. I'm gonna check my wind. Yeah, this is perfect. Wind's perfect. And so hopefully those scent dispensers are doing their job at drop time. And we'll just keep going to these scrapes that we put out yesterday and rattling and see if we can't get something going. It is that time of year. I mean, Alberta and on November 12th, can't ask for anything better. The weather was getting really worse as it went along. The wind was starting to blow harder, the snow was starting to blow. And again, I'm in unfamiliar country. I just know to work this ridge out and keep calling and rattling down into this drainage. I haven't seen anything. It's been a few minutes since I rattled, so I think I'll move on to the next spot that I got to scrape side out with that scent dispenser out. The way I look at it, the worst day hunting beats the best day in the office. That's a good buck. I'm gonna take him.
Winchester Whitetail Revolution is brought to you by Winchester Ammunition, the American legend. Bushnell Optics, Magnify Life. Code Blue, perfecting the science of hunting. Winchester Repeating Arms, the guns that work.
Wait. There's some does. See them? I'm gonna try and slip up here to this log, blow down right here. I don't think they're gonna see me. When I got to the second scrape site, there was some does already at that spot. And several of the does were standing right in the scrape at the drop time scent dispenser. And so that was where I was gonna set up, do some more rattling and grunting, because where there are does, there's big bucks. Got it, we're good, we're good. I didn't see nothing. That's good, we're in a game. We got does out here. I'm gonna get my rattling antlers out here in a second, but we got does out here in this drainage. They don't have a clue I'm here. And certainly I didn't want to start rattling and calling with the does right out in front of me, so I let the does drift on off, waited probably 20-30 minutes, got the grunt call out, got the rattling antlers out, then I started my program. The sound carried down through that drainage, and I went ahead and did a real loud rattling sequence. There's a buck right there, right there. I don't know where he came from, came out of the blue, but all of a sudden standing right down in front of me, probably about 80 or 90 yards, is this magnificent looking 10-point, beautiful buck, and he was standing right at the drop time scent dispenser that we put out the day before. Right there. That's a good buck. I don't know if he heard my horns or he's just following those does we saw earlier. He's missing his brow tines. That's that one they said to go ahead and take. I think he's looking for those does that were here. Yeah, that's what he's doing. Let me range him. Hold steady, big boy. He's 84 yards. He's just standing there. That's a big deer. I'm gonna take him. Here goes. Yes, he's down, yes. I'm gonna leave my horns here. So that was my opportunity to take the shot, and the Winchester Model 70, I let it rip. I mean, it put the smackdown on that buck, there's no question. I mean, it's really blowing out here. You know, I'm kind of glad it started snowing and got temperature dropped, these deer started moving, and it didn't take long, and we slipped up here, saw these does, had patience, and out this buck came. Look at this buck. Wow. Yeah, he's down. Well, when I shot, I knew immediately he was hit hard, and down he went. And what a feeling. I mean, it was really just not long into the hunt, drifting up this drainage, doing the rattling, doing the grunting, putting the scrapes out. Wow, what an incredible whitetail. Look at this buck. He is everything you're looking for, a mature buck. He's missing his brow tines, doesn't make any difference. I'm proud of this deer. And both Albert Jimmy and Henry Stanley said, if you see the buck without brow tines, they call him baldy, take him. And by gosh, we got a chance to take him this morning. We sifted through this brush, rattled and grunted to no avail, and finally got to this drainage and saw some does out here in this brush, working this brush. Well, it's November 12th, and when you see does, there's going to be a big buck around. I got the grunt call out, then the rattling antlers, and this big boy showed up. He was standing right at a code blue drop time scent dispenser that we put out. We got here yesterday, got in, got the mock scrapes out. We've got mock scrapes all through this valley to try and pull these bucks into the scrapes, checking them, and it worked this morning like a charm. Hey, brother.
Good shot.
Thank you, thank you. What do you think about the bad boy?
Congratulations.
I got baldy.
Big.
I got baldy, look at this. All right, guys, I guess we'll get them loaded up. We got the truck parked right over here. Happiness is dragging a big buck into the truck. You predicted that one.
That's the one.
The last thing he said before we started hunting this morning, if you see that one without the brow tines, we call Baldy. Take him. Well, what more could you ask for? You know, here you are at Standing Eagle Outfitters at Frog Lake, Alberta. Not many people get to hunt up here, and I just feel like, you know, Winchester Whitetail Revolution was very, very fortunate to be invited up here to the Indian Reservation at Frog Lake at Standing Eagle Outfitters. We had an absolute incredible hunt. Henry, thanks for having me, man.
You bet you. Thanks. Thank you. We like having you. And on behalf of the Standing Eagle Outfitters here at Frog Lake, we'd like to present you this gun case that my wife Linda made.
Your wife made this by hand.
By hand.
This is beautiful. Thank you. You know, just your friendship is enough. You did not have to give me a gift. But I thank you very much, and I will use this proudly.
I hope I don't... This is my secret, guys. Oh my God. Pardon? I should patent this, shouldn't I? God.